Sadly, he passed away this year and was not able to make it. But in lieu of Ace being here, we have his brother Dan, Dan's wife Pat, and then Ace's daughter April. So please give them a round of applause for making it out today. All right, guys, I prepared a few words for you. I'm going to speak, and then I'm going to pass it off to some very distinguished guests that I would love for you to give your full undivided attention to. Dearly beloved. Sorry, guys, sorry. All right, here it is. I have a dream. Oh, sorry. I have a speaking event later tonight. I'm sorry. Hold on. Welcome to the 1983 Professional Disc Golf Association Tour Stop in Kansas City, Missouri. This tournament, the Kansas City Wide Open, June 11th, 12th, is made possible by the Johnson County Parks and Rec Division and Disc Golf International Sports Club and Budweiser. It was only through the sacrifices of untold numbers of volunteers working not for financial gain, but for rewards immeasurable, yet infinitely more valuable, that this event was even made possible at all. Donations of time, money, and talent were freely given by many only because of the realization that in some unspoken way they would still get back far more than they were given. To all those, and each one of you know who you are, I want to take this space to say a simple and yet heartfelt thank you. To list all of your names individually would more than fill a magazine much larger than this. I would especially like to thank Jeff Rose of the Johnson County Parks and Recreation Division, who was our liaison with his department. I would also to thank those kind benefactors at the Olathe Budweiser Distributorship. For all you've done, this pun's for you. Thanks also goes out to all the competitors, both local and out of town, whose participation has made all of those efforts worthwhile. And especially to that group of Army ants, whose voluntary efforts during the course of the tournament make all the difference between success and disaster. Thank you. All that's left now to do is enjoy the combined efforts of this entire group of dedicated people. So to all of these groups of all of these individuals, I would like to say, stay the course. These words were the words of Dr. Ace Mason. They were written on the first page of the Kansas City Wide Open program in 1983. Words that would become the backbone of our disc golf community in Kansas City. Each tournament director who has took this event year after year learned those lessons of selflessness and giving back to your community to help foster growth. Today, thanks to individuals like Jerry Patterson and his team of misfits, we as disc golf community continue to heed those words as disc golf moves into this new era. It's apparent to what you witness today 40 years later. If you haven't figured it out now, Ace is the founder of the Wide Open. He called it the Wide Open because, as Ace said, fling what you bring. He was so engrossed with writing that program for the event, he had to recruit some of his closest friends to help out. As Mark Stiles recalls, it was one hell of a program. We have posted a scanned copy, or actually going to post a copy of that program on our Facebook page, Kansas City Wide Open, if anyone would like to check that out. Dr. Ace Mason created his own path in life, and many followed. The story of how he became Dr. Ace goes back to an early Louisville Disc Derby event in Kentucky in the 1980s. Television reporter went up to a crew went up to cover the event. They approached these guys, including Ace, and asked each one of them what they were doing for a living. Several of that group had very successful careers. One said, I'm a lawyer. Another said, I'm a rocket scientist. There might have been an engineer or an MD who answered before they got to Ace. An old friend, Ted Smethers, recalls how Ace related what he was thinking when he was asked. It was something like, oh shit, these guys are all professionals, and I'm just a bum. What am I gonna say? Ace went on to say what he seemed to be appropriate at the time and said, I'm a brain surgeon. To the delight of that group and others, the story aired on local television that evening. He started to sign his disc that way. He may not have had a degree, but his closest friends let him get away with it as long as there weren't sharp objects around. As Ace would say, when the legend becomes fact, print the legend. I'm almost done. Ace helped shape disc golf in Kansas City. He took remnants of several disc golf clubs to form the Kansas City Flying Disc Club in around 86, 87, which later morphed into today's Kansas City Disc Golf Organization. Around that same time, with the help of many friends, he created Rosedale Disc Golf Course and along with Jim Krieger, designed and installed Waterworks Disc Golf Course, both of which many of you players got to experience this weekend. In 2016, Ace was inducted into the Disc Golf Hall of Fame. From all accounts, his speech at that award ceremony was epic and indicative of the type of speaker he was. 20 years ago, at the 20th annual Casey Wide Open, he actually gave a speech, but it wasn't a normal speech. Rather, he recited the lyrics to Louie Louie in a deep, melodic voice. When he was done, he simply sat the mic down and went back to his seat, leaving all the audience confused and lost. He was great at telling stories. He always had a way of building each one up to a proper tempo so that it would end just right, leaving those listening to either burst out in laughter or walk away scratching their heads. There might have been a life lesson if you listened close enough. His philosophy on life was to be extremely inclusive. He used disc sports as a forum to bring people together and to enjoy, not to drive revenue or agendas. It didn't matter where you lived, what you believed, or whom you voted for. If you had a disc and enjoyed throwing it at any Frisbee sports, you were a part of his family. So many people introduced disc golf by Ace, introduced to disc golf by Ace. If you were around in the 80s, you probably bought a disc out of his old station wagon. He created so much joy and happiness in so many people's lives. His vision and passion for disc sports helped make Kansas City what it is today. This year, we celebrate the 40th Kansas City Wide Open, an event that Ace would never miss, traveling from his home in Wichita annually. Sadly, we lost Ace a couple months ago. While he may not physically be with us this year, we're sure his soul is flying high among the trees as he watches over the tournament he helped create, being played on the courses he helped design, with the Frisbee family he helped introduce to this wonderful game. This last page has like 3 words on it. So I'll end with rest in peace, Dr. Jim Ace Mason, KCFDC number 1, KC Disc Golf number 1, PDGA number 1735, and 2016 Disc Golf Hall of Fame inductee. Thank you. Now I'd like to introduce one of the local legends of Kansas City who worked with Ace to create the Kansas City Flying Disc Club, C.D. Steiner.
Jim Krieger had a lot to do with this.
He's actually here, though. Let's give a hand for Jim Krieger.
Number 6427 is Jim Krieger. I want to say welcome. I'm glad you guys could make the trip. This thing picks up pretty Is that well right there? Is that good? Yeah. Oh my gosh. As Dick said, thank you for attending the 40th KC Wide Open. I missed the first Wide Open by just a few months. I was running around Swope when it was $5 a day, playing 3 or 4 rounds with a whammo, and didn't really know anybody. I was just a kid having fun, like all of us here. There's a big kid right there, Frank. Yeah, like Dick said, Ace had no formal degree, but no one bothered to give him the 3rd degree, and we just let him live with his delusion. And I mean, it's great. It's just look what it's become. Hopefully you've read our tributes online and also in this year's caddy book. Yesterday morning I had the honor of throwing out the first flight, first disc, first pitch, what have you. And it couldn't have happened any better. The 2 practice throws days previous did the very same thing. Hole 1 at Waterworks. This Stingray begins to crest the hill into the wind and disappears. And then slowly, methodically, late turn rolled and took its time back down the hill, as Ace would have done himself, I'm sure, many times. So, one more final flight for Ace. You think it's gonna roll?
Stingray.
Keep that in my bag. Thanks, George. Yeah, one thing that one of the earliest things I wrote when Ace passed, and I know this is not all about me. it's about Ace and the family that has become what he helped start. One thing comes to mind is that I wouldn't be half the golfer I am if I hadn't met Ace about the time I did. But he'd be the very first to point out, I'm not half a golfer anyway. Laughing with me, right? You know he would. Yeah, expanding on what Dick said, KC Disc Golf Scene was born of the love of flying discs and sharing that passion while making friends and enjoying the great outdoors. Many came before, many came after, but Ace embodied that volunteer spirit, seeing the need and filling the void. I invite you all to do what you can in your area, be it vending, introducing players, or being the professional athletes that we have this day. It's amazing. So keep it going. I could go on and on about the iterations of the Kansas City Flying Disc Club, the numerous board members, volunteers. The Kansas City area has produced many national and world champions, and so much of that is due to Ace and all those volunteers that ran the club, ran the meetings, cleaned up the courses, signed people up. I mean, do you remember the day? Half of you probably don't. You could walk up on a Saturday morning and sign up for a tournament. You want to play a PDGA event now? You got to sign up like within 10 minutes of it opening online.
A year before the tournament.
Years, sometimes. Man, wow. With all that, several other clubs, Disc International Sports Club, so many people I know. I saw Jim Burcham out here. I see him every few years. And so many people that I don't see very often. I'm glad you made the trip tonight. Just after so much time with Ace, he began calling me son, and of course I called him dad. Just about it, just about it.
That is hilarious.
George is right, I look up to everyone, so it's all good. I love that the way the sport has evolved, and now the respect and the money that these top athletes garner. It's this. Remember Rick Rothstein's shirt? Maybe the design that said, "The sport of the future." Here we are. We made it. We made it. It's amazing. And as Ace would say, I love the people that love this game. I hope we all feel his presence this weekend. And like I said, if your tournament, if your round didn't go as planned, just laugh it, because I mean that's just what it is. Enjoy it and live it. Thanks, everybody. Oh, next up would be. Hey, Grace, you're on. No. Blew it. Mike Manor. Okay, and Mikey.
Hi, y'all. Most of you don't know me, ever heard of me, or whatever. You can tell that I'm in my disc golf attire today. The boots and the jeans were killing. I was invited to say a few things about my words about Ace. I'll be brief and sum it up in about 30 words or less. If you've heard those words before, you knew Ace was getting ready to go into a tirade. That would last at least 30 minutes. My introduction to disc golf was driving past Rosedale Park and seeing number 17 basket up on the hill, and wondering what the hell is that thing? And they have to remember this was back in 1986. Disc golf was unheard of, basically. But we figured it out. My friend Jeff Twig and I went out. We started throwing our big whammos around. And this white-haired guy decided to come walking up and ask, "Can I play through?" "Yeah, sure, go ahead." And he's got this bag on his shoulder and towel hanging off of it. What the hell is this guy doing? He pulls out an arrow, chucks that thing further than we'd ever seen a disc fly before. I was immediately hooked into the game. Talked to him a little further, and he said, "There's a tournament this weekend. You ought to stop in and check it out." And as CD was saying, that's when you could actually walk up and sign up, no problems. That's when I met Ace, standing behind the table. Little did I know I'd meet my mentor, tutor, and friend for many years. After the tournament, I was invited by Ace and CD to come by Jimmy's Jigger and help them work on some flyers and brainstorms on a new club that they had just put together, and I became number 32. Anytime I would go to the park, I would look for Ace's station wagon out there with the shovels and the rakes and implements of destruction. And of course, the box of discs for sale. I would talk with him at length and found out this long-haired, bearded guy was very articulate and passionate about this new sports and his visions, and for all the courses all over the city, and that they would be crowded, and that you would have to wait to tee off. In those days, that was just a far-fetched dream. And look at us now. Ace was also adamant about being free to play also. There was a great divide back in those days between Rosedale and the Swim Golf Course. No disrespect to visionary Tom Engel, but it was just a difference in views. Ace was into it. Excuse me. I'll shut up. Ace was purely into it for the love of the game, the people, and his vision of the disc utopia with millions of people playing the game and giving back to their courses for the benefit of all. Ace was also an innovator. He was one of the first people to utilize a computer at the tournament with his state-of-the-art Apple Macintosh to streamline the scoring and records. He saw things larger and grander and would go on expanding your thoughts to see his visions. Ace could be stubborn and outspoken as well. When the club was going through many growing pains to bring the factions of Swope and Rosedale together, there were many conversations and meetings with some equally stubborn and protective people from the other side. I actually got to see this mild-mannered man fuming and about to come to blows about his visions. But Ace trusted me to be the peacekeeper, and I became president for a couple of years. But my vision was heavily influenced by Ace, and that I had come to love and respect. I'll miss his big sweaty hugs after hours of laboring on the course, his loud laugh, and his au contraire when he went on to interject his thoughts. Oh, it always made me crack. Ace loved jokes and puns and would be creative with his writings and songs. The Disc Golfer song, which is here if you haven't read it today. The Kessler rule, no bitching, whining, or harassing TDs will result in no less than 10 years in Leavenworth. That's not far from here, and a $10,000 fine and possible expulsion from the tournament. He would always give that whenever he TD'd. In closing, I have a little gem that he wrote along with the psalm that he did call the Disc Golfer's Prayer. Oh Lord, excuse my voice. Oh Lord, won't you give me a birdie or three? My foursomes, I'll have them, they're laughing at me. I've struggled for 10 holes with no twos to see. Oh Lord, won't you give me a birdie or three? Oh Lord, won't you give me a fat hole in one? I'll gloat for days when this round is done. I'll gladly trade no twos for a place in the sun. Oh Lord, won't you give me a fat hole in one? Oh Lord, won't you help me hit this 90-foot putt? My weenie arms driving has me stuck in a rut. I paid $50 just to shoot like a nut. Oh Lord, won't you help me make this 40 or this 90-foot putt? Oh Lord, won't you make my roller go straight? I'm standing at 11, but shooting at 8. I guess it's my fate to extricate at this late date. Oh Lord, won't you make my roller go straight? Thank you, and God bless you, Doctor. And now it's my pleasure to introduce somebody who actually needs no introduction, but I'll do it anyway. Crazy John Brooks.
Thank you, Mike Mannering. Before I
forget, I need to let you know, CD just let me know that he's got a special run of these Ace Mason Stingrays that he's selling at his car for $35 each. They're the exact same print on the top. Looks super authentic. And another thanks to DJ Twiggy. So keeping things warm up here for you. Nice atmosphere and a lot of work just to do that, to provide this to you. So thank you, DJ Twiggy. Thank you to Dan and Pat. April, you know, April is, last time I saw April was just basically a hippie teenager in a summer dress, just working it. And you know what? Oh no, dear. No, you are our dignitaries and our special guests this evening. This is for you. This is for your family. This is all Ace's fault. All right. So, I know some of you have places to be, but I've been working with a gentleman named Joey Bolin in Leavenworth, Kansas. He's a disc golf player. He's a really awesome guy and very talented. And we have something we put together that we'd like to allow some of you to get a little closer with Ace and a few of the friends that have offered to chime in for this evening's ceremony. So, if you will, when you have the time, please stay. And if you have to go, it's okay. At the end is a very special dedication, though. Thank you.
It's after 4 o'clock on Tuesday, say about 4:30, and just got done planting a bunch of my flowers here. Gonna go eat a bite and go take a nap. But I wanted to call and check in and talk to you in a few days. So, hi, called to say hi.
This is Ace.
Yeah, it was really strange. I was sitting out here at the outside table and gathering up the bulb planter and the plants I wanted to put out on the porch. Started to walk out there, and all of a sudden about 12 cars pulled up in front, black cars. I'm going, what in the hell? So I go out there and start to plant my shit, and there they go, busted my buddy's son diagonally across the street here. Fully automated weapons pulled. Turned out they were all sheriff's department. Got him on a parole violation. Down he went. Anyway, the adrenaline's wearing off, and I gotta eat, take a nap. So I'll just talk to you in a while. Bye, Chris.
Hi, this is Brian Graham with Professional Disc Golf Association. I had the pleasure of meeting Ace Mason at the Kansas City Wide Open years ago. We all know what a great guy he was. My memories of Ace are him telling me this great story of how he earned his doctorate, which I'm sure most of you know. He was not a doctor. Ace is a esteemed member of the Disc Golf Hall of Fame, the Missouri Disc Golf Hall of Fame, and he will be greatly missed. His contributions to Kansas City and disc golf nationally are well deserved, and what a great contributor to this sport. He's going to be sorely missed, and peace to all of Ace friends that are there at the Kansas City Wide Open this weekend, paying homage to him, and let's keep him in our prayers and our thoughts and do something good for disc golf in Ace's name. Thanks, guys. Bye.
That's Brian Graham, the memberships director of the PDGA.
Hey Ace, this is Duffy Cardiff. Just letting you know we miss you. Sorry you had to go, but I know you're out there in the cosmos somewhere checking it all out. And it's still all good here. Wanted to thank you for Rosedale Park. If it wasn't for you, there would be no Rosedale Park Disc Golf Course, and we're still enjoying it, same as we always did. It's now Kansas City's oldest disc golf course, so all because of you. Thanks, dude. Catch you on the flip side.
Duffy Carduff, original SWOT member, Tavish's father.
Hi Ace, Al Bonapane here from good old Whammo and the IFA, the LA Frisbee Club, and the Foothill Ultimate and Guts teams. Hey, I'm sorry you never did get the chance to meet, although I understand you were an honored guest in my old home up in the canyon in Sierra Madre, California, just after I left for parts unknown. Hey, all I've heard are good things about you, man, as a friend and mentor to many, and for all the fine work you've done in our Frisbee community. I'd like to thank you for all that hard work. And again, I'm sorry I didn't get the chance to join the ranks of your many friends. That is my loss. Tell you what, how about I catch up with you on the back nine, Doc? See you then.
Al Bonapane, one of the original members of the Foothill World Champion Guts team.
Yeah, this is PDGA number 962, more commonly known as David L. Greenwell. I just arrived in Emporia, Kansas, and getting ready to compete in my 45th Professional Disc Golf World Championships. I'm pretty stoked. Glad to be off the road, but coming in, I couldn't help but have some memories about Ace Mason with his recent passing that just kind of jogged my memory and reminded me what an unforgettable character he really is. From his name to his voice, to the way he looked, to, I mean, how good of a human being was Ace Mason. I will always remember Ace. Rest in peace, Brother Ace. Ace Mason made the world a better place. Thanks again. See you.
Dave Greenwell, the only person to compete in every single PDGA World Championships.
Hey, Craig. Man, I love you, buddy. I just, a couple of nights ago, got a package in the mail, an autographed copy of Scott Zimmerman's book. And I know how this came about. I thank you so much. I thank you. I love you. I love Scotty. I tell you. What I need to do is send him some money for the book. And I did want to thank you profusely for the help that you got to me. So as soon as it came, I just sat up all night and read the damn thing. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Reminds me of the time when out in Pasadena, stayed with you and him and Dana McGinnis. One of the coolest times I ever had in my life. Hiking up the mountain and down to the little creek there. That's so cool. Anyway, I just want to call you and thank you. Like I said, profusely. This is cool. This is going in the library. Major Frisbee season. And he even got his autograph. So like I said, I do want to send him money for the book. So let me know how to get the money for it. Thank you myself. And I will talk to you soon. I'm pretty much booked up the rest of the night. I've got a meeting to go to in the past hall and a couple of them. But I'll be around this week, so let me know. Thanks, Frank. Bye.
It's the last message I received from Ace Mason.
Hey, Craze. Stork here. We all know that there are 4 aces in the deck, but Ace was one of a kind to all of us, wasn't he? You know, to my dad, Papa Jack, he knew a lot of Frisbee players. And I gotta say, if you would have asked Papa Jack, hey, who do you think is the funniest, smartest, just best all-around guy to be with in the Frisbee world, he would have said Ace Mason. Somehow those guys just really hit it off. Now, you know, maybe Craze and Stork might have been honorable mentions maybe, but he just loved him some Ace. And didn't we all? I mean, what a guy. Just what a guy.
Dan Stork-Roddick, PDGA 003.
This is Mitch McClellan, speaking for both Clint McClellan and myself. I'm sorry we're unable to be there for Ace this weekend, but I just lost my nephew and Clint, his eldest son. My family's loss is so great it's beyond any words. I still wanted to reflect on Ace Mason and the respect that he always gave Gunner and I. Just being in his presence would make us smile. Ace will always be missed, and our prayers go out to his family. Love you, Ace. The Mack brothers.
I want to thank you for taking the time. And before you go, I'd like to offer a dedication. And those of you heard Mitch Mack just speak just now of the tragic loss of Michael Patrick McClellan just last Sunday, Clint McClellan's son. I just need to remind you to check on your friends. I want to remind you to check on your family. And I want to remind you that you can always rely on your Frisbee family. This is something that we have that belongs to us. We built it, therefore we can enjoy this. Dan and Pat, Mason, April, I'd like to offer something to dedicate to Dr. Ace Mason and to Michael Patrick McClellan. It's a project also worked on by Joey Bolin. Please will you enjoy Flatball Pilots, written by Mitch McClellan.
Flatball Pilots. While my body is falling awake, I rise with the rooster and the sun. I find there is true peace of mind, searching for some old disc golf fun. We spin that amazing little flat ball over, around, down, and through trees, rocks, hills, and glens, flying to get a 1 or 2. The plate floats proudly through the sky, more gracious than any aerial bird, powered by human thought and muscle, not by the strength of his honest word. Disc golf is the greatest game of all. Age, race, and gender doesn't matter. You can play when you're big or small, tossing about that disc-shaped platter. Thou voyages out gliding on untamed air upon a dimension where discs are free to roam. Its wayward path may sail you beyond the green, but keen up and down will always get you home. The loud and sharp ring of the chains sends echo throughout the barren trees. The disc dances on the Hedrick nubs. I free fall to my weary knees. Then the plastic slaps the ground. I cry out in a slang disgust. I watch my Frisbee rolling off fast, blowing in a hideous oaky gust. Disc golf is a game full of pain. We endure the dull stab of the knife. We are known as the Flatball Pilots. Disc golf is truly our chosen life, so when you watch that saucer spinning, take in the beauty of that holy sight. and it lands on a 3-story building, the infamous graveyard of last flight.
Good pot.
Flatball Pilots, written by Mitch McClellan, engineered by Joey Boland, and that is a Pantload production. That is the final words of our ceremony. And again, this is for Ace Mason. And please remember to send some love out to the McClellan family. And they are everywhere, so please hug somebody you love, and thank you. From Ace Mason, Ace's family, Dan and Pat Mason, April Mead, we thank you all for joining us. There are some dignitaries here, as we said before. Thank you so much for joining us. Mike Mannering wanted me to add that the song that he read the lyrics to was in fact written by Ace Mason. So we're in good company. Thanks again to Coy Parker. Thank you for joining us. Good luck in your tournament tomorrow, and congratulations to our MPO and FPO competitors who finished their 40th wide open event today. Please make your way home safely and soundly. Love one another. And if you don't like it, for golf.
National underground thunder pounds and knocked off the ground like a million elephants, a silverback orangutan. You can't stop a train. Who wants some? Don't come unprepared. I'll be there, but when I leave there, that'll be a household name. Weatherman telling us it ain't gonna rain. So now we sitting in a drop top soaking wet. In a silk suit, try not to sweat. Hit somersaults without the net, but this will be the year that we won't forget. 1999. And I don't need anything goes. Be what you wanna be, long as you know consequences are given for living the business.